Are you coming to greet me? Oh, I'm honored. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. Although I have put out 2 videos so far this year, this is actually my first video that I'm filming in 2023. We are now over halfway through January. Today's January 18th and Miss Evie is coming back into proper riding work after maybe 6-7 weeks. She hasn't been completely off of riding work. She's been doing little bits here and there, hacking and stuff like that. A few videos back I did a clicker training experience versus green where I go into detail about why I kind of scaled back her riding work to focus on some groundwork and confidence stuff. If you want the kind of backstory to that, I'll put a card here. I got back from Christmas with my family about a week and a half ago. Come on, honey. Hi. Eve has done some groundwork, just kind of getting used to coming into the barn because she lives out, and while I was gone she didn't really do much. She's done some hand walking in the arena, one like Liberty session, and then on the weekend we had a gorgeous dumping of snow, so she went out on 2 hacks, and on Sunday she actually did her first like proper trot in the big open field, and she was so well behaved. If I felt her getting excited or forward, she really listened to the weight of my body and my kind of breathing to slow down and relax. So yeah, I was very proud of her. One pony, 2 pony. She is naturally very relaxed on hacks. She has been more uptight in the arena as of late. So for today's video, I thought that I would do a bringing horse back into work type video, but I'm gonna film the ride and it's probably gonna be quite boring footage because we'll probably just walk. Right now I'm hand walking her maybe 5-10 minutes just so that she can chill and get accustomed to being in the arena without me on her back. I'm gonna film the ride on my phone using my Pivo, and I will do a little bit of a voiceover talking about kind of my thought process behind the decisions I made during the ride and things like that, emphasizing her relaxation, suppleness. If we do end up doing any trot, her head will probably be up in the air because I'll be more focused on rhythm than anything else. First of all, if you force their head into a frame, it's not properly connecting anyway. With her, I find once we get into a nice rhythm and she's relaxed, she naturally goes down into a really nice head carriage, following the scales of training and dressage. I know. Noisy cars. Hello from voiceover Kaitlyn. So the first thing I'm going to say is that when I first started riding this mare, she definitely was wiggly at the mounting block. I would get on, she would wiggle, and then she would walk off almost the minute my foot was in the stirrup. So I've been doing a lot of work with positive reinforcement. So I give her a treat once she's lined up at the block. I give her one once I step up onto the block, and then I get on, and it's worked really well. Obviously, like, this is the end result of a lot of training that I've been doing, but it's only been a few months that I've been really focusing on getting her to stand properly like that at the mounting block, and she's been doing really, really well. So you can see that I have a very, very light or next to nothing contact, and that is because I just want her to feel chill and not to feel any tension based on contact on her face. So I don't have it quite on the buckle, but I am on a very loose rein. And you can see here she comes up and she sees those blue garbage cans in the corner, and she's not quite sure about it, but she walks by and is super brave. So I give her a pat because she has been slightly more reactive to things like that changing in the past. So the fact that she literally just looked at it, kind of shied away, but didn't spook or anything, I was really, really proud of her for. So as I go through my, well, I'm not going to call it a warm-up because this ride was literally just walk trot, but I did a good 10 minutes of just nice loose rein walk both ways. And you can see here how she starts to soften, and then she hears a noise and she spooks a little bit. So I just reassure her there's no point in paying attention to or to giving any negative attention to spooks like that, because it's just her reacting naturally in a really honest way. And something that both riding with my coach and working with positive reinforcement has taught me is that you really should only pay attention and reward the good rather than harping on the bad, because they get way more clear instructions from being told when they do something right than they do from being told something wrong. Because telling them that something is wrong, they understand, yeah, okay, sure, I did that wrong, but they have no idea what the right answer is. So in the clips that just passed, you will see that I did some not so pretty walk trot transitions, and that's just because I wanted to make sure that she remembered and was listening to my seat aids, because I want to rely on my hands as least as possible, and it's something that I'm still learning how to navigate my body on the horse to make them understand what I want them to do, because in the past I will admit that I did rely a little bit too much on my hands. I was never like a hands only rider, but I really didn't understand the way that we can use our bodies and our seat to give them clear instructions about speed and direction. So I'm going to leave the first couple of minutes of this trot work quite raw, just so that you can see how she naturally starts to soften as we start to maintain a more even rhythm. And it's something that I really appreciate about her, is that she's so honest in her reactions. So if she starts to soften, I know that I'm doing something right. So in the way that she takes signals from me, I also take signals from her. And I apologize if you can hear my dog snoring in the background. I'm trying to do this voiceover and he's just like laying down next to me, snoring his heart out. So every horse has a different way that they warm up well, right? So Eve, I have learned, oh, so pretty there. Oh my God, sorry, I got distracted. Eve, I've learned, warms up really well, at the trot at least, if we start on circles and we stay on the same circle until she starts to kind of relax into the contact. And then once she's relaxed, then we'll go up to another circle. We might trot large. So here you'll notice I go down the long side and she stays nice and chill. And then as soon as we start to trot onto this circle, she kind of starts to soften again a little bit, but she's definitely a little bit more uptight and energetic. So I'm kind of just doing the same thing where I'm keeping my hands still, giving her a contact to go into, but I'm not fiddling with it, and I'm rather just focusing on the speed of my posting, using my core to give her some direction as to the rhythm that I want her to be in. And as you can see here, she kind of speeds up, but as we get going, she does soften quite nicely. And then we head down to the other end, where she definitely is a little bit more uptight and nervous. You see there she spooks because of a noise, and then that just kind of distracts her. So I kind of have to go back to square one, not so much worrying about her head and just maintaining a nice, calm, steady rhythm that she can soften into. So here she kind of has a deep breath, softens, and then she hears a noise and comes slightly above the vertical again. So basically, like, I think something that I'm really focusing on with Eve is just relaxation and the basics, following the foundations of the dressage scales of training, because I think people, especially with racehorses, like when people get OTTBs, a lot of times they don't give them enough letdown time. Thankfully, Eve has had tons of letdown time. And she's like ready to be doing what we're doing. But I think people can get so excited about the potential that they see in them that they rush them too much and don't give them the time to mentally mature post-track, to give them the time to really relax, settle into their new environment, get used to things like being outside. Because the life that they lead at the track is quite different to the life that they lead after the track. And for a horse like Eve, like, she is very brave, but she's also very sensitive. So back in November, she was telling me that even though she had been so good and so chill and like so game for everything I asked her over the summer, that the cooler weather and the changes in the environment and her first Canadian winter was kind of getting to her, and she needed to kind of take a step back. You know, she started running away from me when I went to go catch her, and that was telling me, okay, she finds what we're doing aversive, so I'm going to change it up. We started doing positive reinforcement, and now she, as you saw at the beginning of the video, she comes to meet me at the gate most times that I go out to get her. So I'm gonna get back to what you're actually seeing on the screen. So like I did the other way, I did a couple of walk trot transitions, mostly using my seat in order to get her to slow down. And you can see straight away that the trot is a lot more chaotic this way. A lot of people think that the left will be an OTTB's good way, and that's definitely the case at the canter. Like, she finds it a lot easier to canter to the left, but she definitely struggles for whatever reason with bending to the inside at the trot. So you can see that she's like looking to the outside, and I'm using a little bit more contact this way, as well as my body weight, to try to get her to really bend around my inside leg. But it's something that she still is finding more difficult. When she's in more regular work, she definitely finds it easier, but coming into work again, she just has not been using those muscles in the same way, so she finds it more difficult. So basically, I'm just trying to get her a little bit more supple, not necessarily connected, which she is kind of connecting here, but I just want to get her more supple around my inside leg. And as we go through, she's definitely fighting the bit a lot more. Something that I really like about the clips that we're trotting to the right is that she is really soft and she's not fiddling with the bit, which tells me that she's a lot more relaxed this way. But the amount that she is playing with the bit this way tells me that she's a lot more tense. And as much as I would love to trot around on as much of a loose rein this way as the other way, she just needs a little bit more support this way because she has a hard time carrying her body properly. And here she does start to soften really nicely, bending nice around my inside leg. And then I think she just kind of finds it hard to hold it for more than a few strides. So she kind of puts her head up into the air, goes against the contact, and starts to canter. She does the same thing at the walk, where if I'm asking her to connect long and low at the trot, going this way at the walk, she'll put her head up and kind of go into the trot, which you'll see coming forward. But here I decided to end it there in terms of the trot, just because she had given me some really nice moments, and I just wanted to get her to relax now at the walk. You can see here, after trotting this way, she was quite tense. So my goal for the rest of the ride at a walk was basically just to get her back to the same level of relaxation that she was prior to trotting, except now asking for a long and low contact. So I'm asking for it this way. She'll give me a couple of nice moments and then revert back to kind of being slightly above the vertical. So it's definitely something that she is finding more difficult this way, to hold it for extended periods of time, like more than a couple strides. But she does slowly start to offer me more and more as she gets more supple. So after a minute or two here, she really started to soften and give me a couple really nice strides. So I immediately switched it up and went the other way, which she finds a lot easier. And you can see here, she immediately takes her nose down into the contact, into a nice stretch. And she also does a nice deep snort out, which is a nice sign of relaxation. It's something that she does when she's relaxed. So this is a couple of minutes later. We're back going to the left, her quote-unquote bad way, and I have loosened my reins a lot because at this point she was working a lot more nicely off my inside leg, so I wasn't needing to use all of my aids to get her to bend properly so much. And as you can see, she's really starting to duck down into a nice long and low stretch. She is still playing with the bit a bit, but I was really feeling her here. Like, I could just feel her whole back lift up and round underneath me. And the minute that she started using her body in a more technically correct way, going to the left, I just felt her relax so much. And I think it's important to recognize that her issues to the left have as much to do with me as they do with her. Like, she definitely finds it difficult, but I also find it more difficult to be equally balanced in my weight when I go to the left. So it's something that I'm working on, and it's something that as I'm riding to the left, I'm actively focusing on making sure that my balance is equal, making sure that I am balancing my body in a way that encourages the horse to bend in the correct way. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the contrast here between how soft and nice and relaxed she is here as compared to about 5-10 minutes earlier when we finished trotting. It's just like a completely different horse. She's so much more content and relaxed. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I thought that it would be useful to myself as a training tool to do a more in-depth voiceover video about her first ride back after a couple of months of steadier, easier work, so that after a winter of really focusing on the basics and focusing on relaxation, I can look look back on this ride and see what improvements we've made and what we still have to work on. We are just walking out a little bit more. We did about 30 minutes. My plan had been to do about 20, but towards the end, like after we trotted, she was just a bit tense. I think she was just has energy because she hasn't been ridden much. And even though she's outside, the ground has been quite hard and icy, so she can't run around as much outside as she normally would. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with how she was. I got on and basically, well, I will have done a voiceover, so I'm not going to go too much into detail. Basically, I'm happy with how she was. I was hoping that she wouldn't get quite so hyped after we trotted, so I had to spend about 15 minutes after we did a little bit of trot just getting her to relax to the same level that she was before we trotted, but that's very common. It's just something to work through. So that's basically the aim for the winter. It's not necessarily to install all the fancy movements or anything like that, but really lay down the foundation at the flat. We might do a little bit of jumping, we'll see, but I want to make sure that she has a really good solid foundation of the basics. I want to make sure she just is even and rhythmical and balanced on both reins, because right now to the right, which is really interesting because they race to the right. You would think that she would be more balanced to the right, but she's actually she's more balanced at the canter to the right than she is to the left. But at the trot, she kind of, almost like she bulges around my inside leg or outside leg, which is interesting. But I know that I have issues going that way as well. I tend to lean my weight more to the outside, so it's something that I'm actively working on, and we're working on it together. So yeah, I'm gonna end this part of the video here, put her away, and then I'll end the video with Merlin, because it feels weird to have a video without him in it. And yeah, my ADHD brain completely forgot to end the video, so I'm going to do that now. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and comment down below. I hope you are having a wonderful new year, and don't forget to give your horse or pony a hug or a kiss the next time you see them. And I will see you next time with, I'm not sure quite what yet, but yeah, see ya.